Yeah! Yeah!
So much. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. We are back on the air after a quick break. Stay tuned. We are talking about Super Bowl, retirements, and other sports things, along with your favorite myths, games, and games. Stay tuned. Your favorite new Hot Shot Sports is next. Thank you guys for joining us and welcome to Hot Shot Sports. My name is Greg Hill and I will be your host for the next 30 minutes. Next to me are my friends and my good panelists that will be joining us. To my left we have Evan Barrett. Oh. Next to him we have Cole Zerbel. And rounding out the table is Camille Walter. Thank you guys so much for joining us. First production of the year. Let's have some fun,
Thanks,
right?
Greg.
All right, sounds good. Here we go. So first headline, number one. As I said, we have been off the air for a little bit. So since we've been gone.
Since you've been gone.
I was waiting for that. We have a few things to talk about. Guys, let's approach the first headline. Super Bowl has happened. It's a little dated, but it's the last football that we get to talk about, so let's make the most of it. Broncos faced off versus Carolina in Super Bowl 50, the Golden XL, and the Broncos came out on top, 24-10. Guys, what do you take away from a game like this, and how does it translate to next season?
Only thing I can take away from it was the meme, or was it a GIF of Eli Manning?
Oh, yeah, that was a hot topic.
Response, yeah. Just
when you're not the favorite child.
When you're not the favorite child anymore.
So he kind of elaborated on that. Do you believe that he is actually worried about when his brother practices or when his brother is playing in a close game? Or was he doing math?
I think so. I think what he was doing was just thinking like an NFL quarterback does, and obviously he's an all-star pro quarterback like that, and he's just thinking about what this game's going on. Obviously, he knows the game isn't over. He's seen some pretty bad upsets and just comebacks, and I think he understood that, okay, maybe we should be going for two to make sure that, it's still a two-score game, and they need to kick those the extra points.
Yep.
So I think, that's all in his idea. He'd like to celebrate, but he's not going to do that until the game's over.
Absolutely.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the big hot topic afterwards was, I know Peyton probably made his $50,000 saying that he was going to have Budweisers, but afterwards, on the other side of the losing side, we had Cam Newton and his disappointing press conference that was a lot around the world. What do you guys take away from that? I think that, personally, what I've always given the benefit of the doubt is you just lost the biggest game of the season. I mean, you're not going to be extremely happy about it. Are you guys for Cam or against him, or what are your guys' thoughts? Cole, what do you have to say?
I love Cam, and I totally understand having lost many games in my career. I believe that talking to the press has got to be such a difficult task, especially after a loss. They ask questions that are downright annoying, to be honest, and I don't blame him one bit.
All right.
I think he's a young quarterback. He obviously has extreme potential. I agree with Cole, and he was asked really tough questions. I mean, at that point, you just lost the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough to answer those questions to the press.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to more football. Guys, some big names are retiring that we aren't going to see on the field anymore. Beast Mode being one, also a top receiver for the Detroit Lions. Calvin Johnson will also not be back. What do you guys think will happen to these teams, or you think these are appropriate times to retire?
Right now, I don't think that I think really the only one that's for sure is Marshawn Lynch, and a lot of people are still saying that's not true. That's not the case. So you've got Skittles, you've got Megatron, you've got the Sheriff. All three of those guys are saying that they're retiring. That's not official yet. I'm sure Peyton Manning will go out on top. I mean, he's got nothing else to play for, and really, he can't play. He can't even feel his arms.
Would you argue now that since Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, of course, is saying that he's retiring, is this a free agent stunt that you think he's trying to do? Maybe pulling more money, or you think he really is hanging it up?
I mean, he's making more than any running back really is. I mean, he's top running back. I don't think a guy past his prime is going to be making any more.
Mm-hmm. And that's for all the questions he answers during press conferences.
I appreciate that, fam.
All right. Any other football things you guys have to say? I guess we'll move on.
I just look and I see more than just those two names. You see Charles Woodson and Jared Allen riding off into the sunset to say, but this could be a great Hall of Fame class if all these athletes do end up retiring.
Very, very good point. All right, cool. Moving on away from football, we're going to have to be hold out for another, I think it was 26 weeks, something like that. A little too long. Moving on to basketball, our own Milwaukee Bucks locally. Steve Novak has finally been signed to the Bucks. He's becoming the nickname of Mr. Everywhere. Now, Steve has quite an extensive resume under his belt as far as moving on to basketball teams. His age, being 32 years old, do you think this is a beneficial signing for the Bucks or not?
The Bucks seem like they're a young enough team. I feel like they need the veteran leadership, but as we can see from the tweets and everything, poor kid doesn't even know who his dad plays for anymore. He's got a Knicks basketball.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, if we can take a look at that again, if we haven't already seen it. His kid was wearing, I believe a Kevin Durant jersey. He's wearing
his dad's jersey.
Oh, he's wearing his dad's jersey from the Thunder. He's wearing Utah Jazz pants, and he's dunking on a Knicks hoop. So, I mean, you can't really pick. What kind of gear do you get at that point?
He did make an appearance last night against the LA Lakers. He played the last minute and 24 seconds of the game. He missed a 3, and he fouled. So, I vote for the guy.
Okay.
I think he could make some do with the Bucks.
I think
he didn't put up $1 billion or something. He didn't put one of those. At least he has a stat. Acclimated.
At least he has a stat. He made an appearance.
That's a minute and a half longer than we've ever played on the Bucks.
That's very true.
Okay, right?
Minute longer than we've ever played anywhere.
Exactly. All right, moving on to our final headline of the day.
Back to football.
Oh, we'll go. Yeah, we're going to go back to football actually. So the Bills have had a lot of coaching changes. Most notably, Rex Ryan hiring his brother to coach alongside with him. But they also made a different coaching hire. They hired Catherine Smith as the first full-time female head coach in the NFL. She's taking on the duties of special teams quality control. Now, guys, special teams is arguably the most dangerous part in the NFL. Do you think that her hands will be extremely full taking on this kind of position?
Her hands are going to be full, and anyone's hands are going to be really full when you're taking on such a big position. But this is I think more than anything, it's just the fact that this is such a big hire. You had Jen Welter from the Arizona Cardinals as an intern last summer. But this is a big thing now because of, she's finally getting paid. She's there permanently, and she's already been able to outlast all the criticism that she's gotten for being a woman. Obviously, she's got the credentials for being able to be there already. She's gotten trust from Rex Ryan and the entire Buffalo Bills organization. I'd like to see where this goes, and hopefully this leads into more appearances in the NFL for women coaching, I should say. I think with the San Antonio Spurs, you've got an assistant coach there as well. She's done a fantastic job. They're going to continue. It's only a matter of time until we get more and more.
Now, how long do you think until a woman becomes maybe an offensive coordinator or something along those lines? Maybe work your way up. Not to belittle the special teams quality control coach, because that's definitely a big
huge,
task.
yeah.
But I'm saying maybe a specialized position coach or something like that. Maybe, if I know it's kind of hard to predict, maybe give a timeline, because like you said, Becky, for the Spurs, is making some big strides in female head coaching, which I honestly do believe we need in professional sports. But maybe would 5 years be too soon? Maybe 10?
I think we're starting to see more in the NFL, of course, with females. So I give it 5 years.
5.
Something.
Okay.
Something's going to happen.
Unfortunately, I personally don't think it will be as soon as a lot of people would like.
Yeah.
I think it's such a step that a lot of teams
controversial.
aren't going to be. They're going to want to see it work before
Absolutely.
they try it themselves, because it's such an important job. I do think women are very capable of doing it, and I hope to see it within the next 10 years.
Now, would you say that maybe it's easier then for Becky because she's on such a successful basketball team? Now, we're just going to talk women coaches in general. Do you think that just because she's on it, like you said, that it's going to have to work before it becomes more apparent? Do you think that seeing things like that, like she has more of a cushion, maybe that's the wrong way to put it, or maybe...
I think because she's on a successful team, it's going to maybe speed up the process, but it'll happen.
All right, good. All right, that's awesome. Good to know. All right, moving on to our second headline of the day. We're going to move on to John Scott, who was one of the most controversial players in the NHL for his names of penalties. And what happened, what was awesome, is he was fan voted into the NHL All-Star game. Now, guys, this is super cool because he was in the AHL, and both the Arizona Coyotes and the AHL asked him to bow out of the All-Star game, and he absolutely refused and still went with it. What does that speak to his character?
They didn't ask him. They told him that you're not allowed to. That's the rule.
Yeah.
If you get traded, you're not in the All-Star game. I think it was just the fan uprising and of the social media and just how powerful that is now. They kept him in the game, and obviously it was a big thing. He's an MVP. He just almost kicked out the MVP.
Yeah, exactly. That's good to know. He actually made leagues in a pretty competitive All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
The NHL. So
Yeah, just to see him succeed was awesome. He dominated clearly more than any other player in the All-Star game, and I was just happy to see it. Seems to be a guy who's loved by the other players in the NHL, and I was very happy to see him succeed.
any thoughts?
I think, I agree. It was good to see him succeed as an MVP.
And how about him fighting with one of the former league MVPs? Him and Patrick Kane dropped the gloves in the middle of the game. That was super awesome too.
Patrick Kane would have won.
Yeah, a tiny forward. Yeah, and I don't know, man. That's kind of the tail of the
John
tape
Scott's
there.
a brute.
This is a big guy.
Yeah.
That's what he was in the league for, is for fighting.
So, all right, perfect. Okay, so there you go. Congratulations to John Scott. We're going to stick on the hockey train, and we're going to look at the ridiculously impressive Minnesota Wild. Talk about a roller coaster season. When you start off doing pretty decent in your
Doing pretty
conference,
decent. That was the best franchise start they had.
Right.
and then absolutely just falling off, losing. What was it? I think
13 or 14.
13 of 14 since December 28th or something. Haven't won at the Target or at the XL since December, I think mid-December or something like that.
Embarrassing.
So absolutely. So things are indeed getting wild. Now, what they did is they made a fire. Mike Yeo is not their head coach anymore. What they did is they hired their interim head coach, who has quite an extensive resume. He was on the 2010 Blackhawks championships. He's been across seas. He's been on the Olympic teams. Now that he's their interim head coach, guys, what do you think about this hire and this turnaround that has happened? Because since this coach, they've won 4 times in a row after going 1-14.
They grabbed the guy from the Iowa Wild, their farm team, and obviously he's got some fire in them, and whatever he's doing is working. It's working with this team. I still say Mike Yeo should have had just a temper tantrum like he did last year. Maybe it would have woken up the team. But instead, they fired him. They're 5-0, and they've scored 26 goals in 5 games.
Yeah, but I mean, once your head coach throws a temper tantrum, like you already lost your locker room.
No, they came back. And they rallied around him.
Absolutely. I think we know that's the most false statement.
I think every
said
3-year-old knows
on
throwing a
this show.
temper tantrum is the best way of going about things.
Well, maybe.
You want a toy at the
should be
grocery
your
store,
mom.
you throw a temper tantrum.
to get that one piece of candy. I know. Now, here's my next question, guys. How long should it be, or should they do this now, is remove this interim title from him and actually make him their head coach permanently?
I think see how the rest of the season goes.
Okay.
I mean, obviously they've been up the past 5 games. They've been playing really well. I think it'll depend how the rest of the season plays out.
Okay. Cool.
I think you hear something similar with the Badgers men's basketball
Bo
team.
Ryan.
Greg Gard is coaching very well right now, and the Badgers are
Great.
making a run for the NCAA tourney. And people keep asking when are they going to hire him as a full-time coach. Very likely not till the end of the season.
Okay, absolutely. So, all right, perfect.
Similar.
Yeah, it's similar. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's a good coaching thing. It's something to take into because there's a lot of interim coaches, especially this season. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to look at some amazing, adorable pets on Perfect Pets. But stay tuned. We have more games to play, and we have more fun to be had here on Hot Shot Sports. Stay with us. Woo!
WMCM TV sends out a group of students to film some of the most precious animals of the Cooley Region Humane Society in a segment we like to call Perfect Pets. The Cooley Region Humane Society offers a variety of programs and services at little or no cost to help both animals and people in our community. If you have found or lost a pet, are in need of training assistance, need cat behavior consultation, desire to volunteer, need to surrender your pet, or are looking to adopt a pet, the Cooley Region Humane Society offers this and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Adopt or become a volunteer today. To find out more about these services, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Well, welcome back to the Hot Shot Sports. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember that number for the Cooley Region Humane Society is 781-4014. Yeah, look at that, right? Okay, so we're gonna play a new game that we have installed for us, and it's called Mail Time. Now, what we're gonna do?
Mail time, mail time.
There you go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take audience polled questions from around the world, and we're gonna try to answer them for them. So let's go to our studio audience, guys. What is our first question?
Eric from Los Angeles asks, with no clear dominating team in the NCAA, who will be the most dangerous in the big dance this March?
Very nice. Okay, good question, guys. Here's the thing. This is very interesting because there is no Kentucky. There is no, I mean, you could argue that Villanova's the most dominant team this year so far. Yes, but they aren't number one undefeated. We're not talking about how long their streak is going to go into the tournament. So it's kind of nice. It's more of a fair playing ground, which I think fans maybe would agree with, that it's more interesting to watch because, you know, the one seed has lost many a time. So, who do you guys see as a threat? If you want me to rattle out the top 5 for you right now, as of yesterday, I can.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so number 1, we got Villanova. Number 2, Kansas. 3, Virginia. Tied for 3 is Virginia and Oklahoma. And then Xavier is going to do the 5th one at the 5th place. So Xavier, kind of a surprise. But who do you guys think is the most dominating team right now?
I have Kansas on
Absolutely.
my bracket.
Yeah.
I think they'll go pretty far. You guys agree?
I think Kansas has been the most dominant team all year. They've had a couple slip-ups, but they have the veteran leadership of Perry Ellis along with a lot of young talent. And I feel, even in this season of parity, they have the best chance to go all the way.
Okay.
I think it's nice and refreshing because no team wants to be undefeated this year. I mean, you get in the top 5 and you just lose. So it's pretty fun.
So you don't want to be in the top 5?
No. You want to be like a 3 seed this year. That's what you want to be.
Okay.
So somewhere in between Arizona and Oregon.
Now, is this because you don't want to lose to a 16 or 15 seed early on in the year? Because that could definitely happen.
It's probably going to happen this year.
Okay.
15 seed's going to win.
All right. You
That's
heard
my
it here
guess.
first. All right, guys, let's move on to our next question. Audience,
my
take it
words.
away.
Question number 2, Francine from Flagstaff asked, there have been talk about Taryn Beckham, cousin of Odell Beckham Jr. Although he has no prior collegiate experience, how do you think he would make it in the NFL?
Okay, so a little background about Teron Beckham. Now, Teron Beckham is the cousin of Odell Beckham Jr., one of the all-star receivers for the New York Giants. Now, what Teron has done is he's 5'11", 230. Now, he's a monster. That's just the least to say. He's an absolute monster. He was recorded benching 225, which is the recorded bench press weight for the combine. He benches 225 42 times. Now, that's 10 above the record for an NFL running back.
That's almost the combine record.
Yeah, no, that's the combine record is 32.
For running backs.
For running
I'm saying
backs.
overall.
Overall,
combine
yeah,
record.
absolutely. Now, he has a 45-inch vertical. This guy's jump is insane.
Sounds
Now,
like a monster.
again, like he had no prior college experience because of financial issues. I was listening to an interview with him. He was going back and forth between campuses. He, the coaches wouldn't let him play. He wanted to focus on school, things of that nature. But, I mean, he's absolutely a finely, athletically tuned machine. What can we say? Does he have a hope of at least getting invited to the combine?
I don't think he's got a chance at all to get invited to the combine. Combines for college players, you're not going to the combine. But I think he's got a great chance to be at least a training camp invite. But you got to understand, every single training camp invite is college a standout. They just didn't get drafted. So I don't think he's got a chance to really make with a team. What is his experience with football in general? He hasn't played for a while, so I don't think he's really got a chance. Yes, this guy can be a beast. Yes, this guy can put up numbers, but you look at the combine, you look at previous number 1 draft picks. These guys don't go anywhere half the time because they're just duds. So
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a name that we hear now, and 6 months we'll never hear again.
Okay, something to look at. Teron Beckham, look forward. All right, for our last question of mail time, audience member, please take it away.
All right, question number 3. Johnny from Cleveland asks, Rob Gronkowski had a 3-day party cruise which has been appropriately dubbed Mardi Gronk. While some athletes celebrate their party lifestyle, some get penalized for it. Is this a double standard in the sports world?
Good question, Johnny from Cleveland. Maybe a little bias there. So, guys, what do you think about this?
Johnny's
Gronk
moving
going
from
nuts.
Cleveland, I heard. He's not staying there for a while.
Oh, really? No, he's shipping out? Huh,
Wait, are you guys
really
talking
weird.
about Johnny Manziel?
No.
No.
This is Johnny from Cleveland.
Now, what do you say to this? Because, I mean, when you win Super Bowls and when you do this, guys, you can party, and he parties and he makes it very apparent. So what's the difference of him doing it other than a younger athlete, maybe not so experienced?
I think the difference is that he doesn't cause any problems.
Okay.
He's not breaking the law.
He's not breaking the law. He's of age. He's not hurting anybody, and I think that's what it comes down to is why it's it's viewed as okay when he does it.
All right, very good points. Very good points. Johnny from Cleveland, thank you for your question.
I want to play another game.
Best of luck to you. And we're going to play a new game here on Hot Shot. I'm very excited. We're going to do a little role play here, folks. Yeah, get ready for this. It's time for role play, boys and girls. Guys, so now what we're going to do is they're going to take on different personas. We're going to do a little acting of boys. So my good friend here is going to be Kyle Schwarber from the Chicago
I am Kyle
Cubs.
Schwarber.
Cole will be taking the role of Peyton Manning. And Camille will be Ronda Rousey. Thank you guys so much for coming on our show. This is the biggest celebrity panel we've had.
This is the only celebrity panel you've ever had. You'll never have another again.
Great, thank you. We'll start out with you, Kyle Schwarber.
Okay.
Now, your nickname is The Burger.
No, my nickname's Bam Bam.
Bam Bam now, really? Okay.
It's always
you like
been
these
Bam Bam.
nicknames. You like these nicknames?
I take account of these nicknames.
All right, so spring training hasn't even started yet, and you already have an impressive stat on your trading card already. What is that?
I've broken a windshield already, and I plan to break 5 more by the end of spring training.
How many have you broken so far?
I've broken about 12 in my lifetime. And you know what? They just keep getting further and further away, but you know what? I'm just going to keep hitting them.
And from what I understand, you also had another kind of break.
Yeah, that Beamer had it coming today. I just already dented a Beamer today. It was pretty fun.
That happened today, and he gladly came over here.
Today.
Now let's move on to Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Woo-hoo!
After coming off of a tough loss that the whole nation saw, do you
Don't want to talk about it.
I know. Well, we're gonna. Do you coming off of
Too
things
bad.
that you said to the media? Do you regret saying some of the things or being that honest in front of the media after the loss?
You know, I was just really upset about it. You know, I lost my position. Can we just not play that over and over and over again?
It's a GIF. It's going to play over and over again. I wish we had a GIF
No,
of my
I
home
didn't
runs.
mean it. You'll see me coming back soon.
Will we?
Yes.
Just on the
Okay.
big screen, right? Because you're a subpar actor.
Oh.
Ooh! Ooh! Not only do I crush baseballs, I crush dreams.
All right.
No comment.
Okay, all right. Well, Rhonda, we'll give you a break on this one.
Okay.
Last one. We have the Super Bowl winning champion, Peyton Manning, here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming, Peyton. Your forehead looks lovely today. So after the loss, I want to know, how much did you actually get paid to say that you were having some Budweisers after the game?
Fun fact, I actually own Budweiser. Well, part of it, like a chain of it.
Uh-huh.
Do you
So-
also own Nationwide?
No, he owns Papa John's.
Oh.
Either way.
I like to have a drink with my pizza, and that's all.
I mean, who doesn't?
Now, there's been some criticism of your stats. If we could take a look at your stat sheet, if we already did it. You had not the best game, but still a champion.
You're the greatest quarterback to win a Super Bowl since Trent Dilfer.
Omaha.
Well put. Well put. So if Papa John's ever needs any ad space, I got a good billboard for him that I can see. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. Any other questions that you would like to? Because Schwartz, you've been a little vocal today. Do you want to ask any other?
But seriously, Peyton Manning, how do you feel about being the worst Super Bowl winning quarterback since Trent Dilfer? Don't say
And we're
Omaha.
out of time. Thank you guys so much for playing along. Welcome. Thank you guys for participating in role play. It's our first role play ever on Hot Shot, and it went
Swimmingly.
swimmingly. That's what we'll call it. All right, guys, moving on. We're going to go back to the NBA. So there was the trade deadline was last Thursday, and it was subpar at best. I mean, that's talking from fans. That's even talking from analysts.
It's talking from players.
And players,
If you recall,
too.
Swaggy P from Los Angeles didn't even know the trade deadline had passed.
That's true. He was still thought that, yeah, exactly. So let's give a report card overall on the trade deadline and how you guys thought that it went down.
I'm still waiting for the trade deadline.
It's
an F.
I think you are. Okay. So
F.
Give it an F. Just
F.
some noticeable trends and some offseason trades are Cleveland Cavaliers got Channing Frye, Los Angeles Clippers getting Jeff Green, and then the biggest push was Markieff Morris to the Washington Wizards. They shopped really hard for him, and then Memphis getting Lance Stevenson. I don't know what kind of significance that has in the NBA, but but there you go. He's so. I mean, how are you guys giving this grade for all the anticipation and all the expectations, and it just falling flat, as most people would say?
That's every trade deadline anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, but
You-
this one in particular.
I agree with Evan on that one.
You heard so many rumors about big names like Dwight Howard and Blake Griffin about to be traded, and just nothing. And even the Rockets ended up making a trade. They traded Monty Eunice and Marcus Thornton, but for a first-round pick. But that was actually taken back now because Monty Eunice failed his physical. So
Really?
the trade deadline was even less exciting.
And so you think about the things like Anderson Varejao too, making this whole like emotional release to the Cavs. Says he's going to Warriors. They might go back to the Cavs. No, that's what I've heard at least. But I feel like
I thought he did sign with the Warriors.
I thought that he was. See, I read it. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's the rumor mill. You got to stay on track, people.
It's just been a mess.
Let's just pick a team and go with it. Okay, that's my message every offseason.
DeAndre Jordan.
So again, and here's the thing: you look at Lance Stevenson, which he can perform, he can put up numbers, and then you look at Dwight Howard, like these players who have such
toxic.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it in the locker room. Now, who would want? Now everyone's shopping Dwight Howard as if he's a good pick for a team, but I honestly cannot see it where they're coming from because how many teams has he been on? Orlando, you got the Rockets, you got the Lakers. I don't know. Any final thoughts, real quick, over the trade deadline?
Nothing.
No final thoughts because nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Fair enough. And there you go. That's your trade deadline. Stay tuned, guys, for Hot Shot Sports. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will wrap up the show when we come back. Stay here. That was really shitty. I'm sorry.
WMCM TV has a brand new sports show. That's right. Join us every Monday and Friday to keep up to date with all the Eagle athletics. We'll recap highlights, talk to coaches and players, and keep you up to date on what's happening around campus. Pretty cool, right? The show that I'm talking about is Eagle Nation. So join the crew every Monday and Friday at 12 p.m. to talk about UWL athletics. When you think of sports, think of us, Eagle Nation, on WMCM TV.
Thank you so much for coming back to Hot Shot Sports. Thank you for tuning in with us. Our first show of the semester, first production of WMCM TV. Guys, so real quick, like we said, this winter sports season has been insane. It's been crazy. What are the biggest surprises that you have come out on as far in these sports?
Start with you guys.
I don't know. Let's start with Cole.
All right. I think my biggest surprise has been, we touched on it earlier, the parity in men's basketball this year. So many teams, like such as Xavier, who wasn't even in the top 25 at the preseason poll, is now number 5 in the nation, as you stated earlier. And other teams like Oregon, Iowa, Miami, all teams that nobody expected much from this year, lost a lot of pieces from last year, and they're still doing well. There's already been 6 number 1 teams this year compared to only 2 all of last year, which obviously Kentucky was dominant most of the year last year. And the fact that no Duke or Kentucky is in the top 10 right now is just mind-blowing to me.
Now, do you think it's less better basketball being played? Or do you think, is that what you say when you say parity? Or is it just that it's more of an even playing field?
I don't think the basketball level is as high this year.
Okay.
You have the Buddy Hield and Ben Simmons of the world. But besides that, it's
You don't
just,
have very many dominant forces this year.
Exactly. There's no one really pushing it ahead.
No.
So, there you go. All right.
I think my biggest winter sports thing since we've been off air since last semester was the 2016 Honda NHL All-Star Game. That was big. Got a lot of popularity with fans. It was transformed into a 3-on-3 All-Star tournament. What do you guys think about it?
I loved the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game. I thought it was awesome.
I think
honestly.
the new format was really good for NHL hockey, and just the fact that they were still using like the weekend before to do all these skills competitions like the NBA does, but then making the actual game itself more exciting. I think that's really great. It's great for the sport. Basketball's been thriving with all this, except for the All-Star game for basketball. That's just been awful. I mean, no one wants to see just keep throwing up and lacking defense. I'd like to see defense. I like playing defense.
Of course. I mean, it's a good thing to see
Defense
some
is good.
defense, but
You're
it's
right.
also a good thing to see a highlight reel. I mean, you saw Anthony
The
Davis.
entire game is a highlight reel.
dunk.
It's just like going and going.
Okay.
I don't want to see a team
Fair
put
enough.
up 200 points a game.
A couple quick facts here. NHL was, like you said, Camille, the All-Star change. Their ratings were up 24% from last year, earning a 1.7 rating on the broadcast world. That's huge. Now, I would also agree with you because even the players seem like they're having a lot more fun. Like even with John Scott being in it, Patrick Kane getting booed at the opening. I mean, like you had
John
a lot.
Scott finding exciting too. That.
Exactly. So it was a lot of good stuff. That's a good surprise.
Yeah. And I think just compared to the Pro Bowl this year, again, it's just been another down year for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
It's been awful.
Pro Bowl
So,
viewership down for the third
Pro Bowl needs
year
to go
in a
back
row.
to actually doing those skills competitions like they used to.
Okay.
And maybe just dump the game itself.
So would you say that maybe the game dumping all itself would be the best
Game's
thing
done
real
forever.
quick?
I think so, yeah.
Get rid of it
I'd
completely?
rather
Agreed.
see him play
Maybe.
basketball.
Okay. Yeah, you rather see him play basketball? That's something to know. You should just have other teams play other sports.
Yeah.
All right.
There we
Think
go.
about it. I'll throw a letter to you guys. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us for our first section of Hot Shot Sports. And just kidding, we're going to keep on camera because that's right.
Dude, we got the poll.
Oh, we got the poll. That's right. We have an audience poll that we're going to talk about. Oh my goodness. So we have a quick poll here that we're going to take of the students or of my panelists up here. Let's take a look at this poll. What is the bigger fail here? Now let's take a close look at it.
China basketball.
China basketball dunk contest or
And he completely missed.
or this penalty kick.
This penalty kick was pretty awesome. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And it's,
Oh no!
hey, you know what? That must have been Blair Walsh. That's Blair Walsh. Free kick, sorry. Yes, free
So
kick.
what's a bigger fail to you guys? Is Ellie, let's see you guys
Audience,
first.
what's the audience?
What
Speak
was
up.
the audience
What do you
say?
guys say?
Free kick?
Free
Free
kick.
kick for
I would have
sure.
thought free kick, but it's not.
China basketball?
No, it's China basketball. I would go with the free kick too.
I would have gone
Agree?
with free kick.
Okay, we're all agreeing. Okay, now that we got the poll out of the way, thank you again for joining us for Hot Shot Sports, our first production of ever. Thank you guys so much for ever. Thank you guys so much for looking
Okay,
through.
bye.
All right, and we're leaving. Thank you for the crew, for everyone up here. Hot Shot Sports, stick with us, always on.
Thank you,
Campus
audience.
6. Thank you guys.